Get cool stuff for what you were going to do anyway. Drink beer. With Buy Beer, Get Gear from Labatt, you can just snap a photo of your receipt and upload it to the website to rack up points for exclusive merch. Get points for every purchase, whether you're grabbing a pint on draft, a case for a party, or a tall boy at the stadium. Any size, any product, anywhere you buy Labatt. Buy beer, get gear. Sign up now at rewards.labattusa.com.
Now, stand back for your own safety.
Steve, what's up?
Congrats on the win.
Thanks, Steve. Where Paulie at?
Here we go.
I'm checking out. I will respond to you, but I'm done for the week. I'm done.
Steve is my favorite part of the show. How's that?
I like that. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
Check for sound.
Pleasure to be on there talking with Paulie, man. He's a good dude.
I'm an idiot. I'll just shut up and let you talk. I was trying to help.
And shout out to Tupac.
3, 2, 1, and
This is Orange Nation.
Well, hello, Paulie and Steve.
With Stephen Fonte and Paulie Sibilia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to have you with us alongside Tim Leonard for the first hour. I'm Stephen Fonte. This is a Thursday edition of Orange Nation. We hope Paulie will join us in hour number 2. We've got Fran Brown set to join us any second now. We were originally supposed to have Adrian Autry on the show at 1 o'clock today. He's unable to make it today. We hope to start with Red next week, but we will have the voice of the Orange, Matt Park, coming up at 1:30. Plus, we'll mix in your phone calls throughout 315-437-7644. What's up, Tim?
Loaded show still, Steve. Lots to discuss with Fran Brown, and he's been very honest with us in these conversations. So looking forward to getting his thoughts on the quarterback situation going into Miami.
Yeah, a lot to get to with Fran. We did have a lot to get to with Adrian Autry, but unfortunately we won't have him on the show today. We should mention that on the Adrian Autry show last night, he did say J.J. Starling's injury, nothing serious, right? Said that they're going to take it slow with him. So we should point that out, that it sounds like he's going to be fine. We don't know his status going into Saturday or Delaware State, but big picture, it sounds like he's going to be fine. But we do start certainly with football, and obviously the big question, this week is who's starting at quarterback, and secondary from who's starting, how many will play, what is the plan? It seems like it's been changing, week in and week out, and you understand why. What are your thoughts on the situation?
Well, I think Fran Brown, it's going to be interesting to see what he shares and what he's willing to share on the quarterback situation a little bit here. I think he is going to go with who plays the best in practice this week, and he was adamant about that, and looks like we do have Fran Brown right now, so we can ask him himself. But I think it's going to be interesting to see how practice leads to the quarterback situation.
All right, with that, let's bring on the head coach of the Orange, Fran Brown, brought to you every week by Great Lakes Honda City. Coach, it's always a pleasure checking in with you. How you doing today?
I'm chilling. How you making out?
We're doing well. I don't know how much of that conversation you caught, but of course we're talking about the quarterbacks. You could probably guess our first question. Have you decided at this point who the starter is, and if not, what's going to be the determining factor?
I haven't completely decided, but I know who we want to play. We understand who we want to play. We're just trying to let Coach Johnson be able to pick from his watching them all week and seeing the things they do in the meeting room, not on the football field, what they're doing in individual drills. So it's just a bunch of stuff that is going to weigh into that.
Last week, can you share with us, Coach, is Ricky Collins at least an option going into this week? Is he still in the mix?
Yeah, he's fully in the mix. Yeah. He probably had an upper hand, but he's definitely in the mix.
All right, that's good to know, Coach. And on the note of Mike Johnson, you made some coaching staff changes this week. Can you speak to the style of coach that Mike Johnson is and why you felt that he was going to help the quarterback position group?
I just felt like they needed a change in that room, and I felt like they needed changes in all rooms, but this was the best way to help. They're being able to do it right now. Coach Johnson has coached in the NFL for over 10 years at that position. He's done a really good job. He coached some notable guys, right? Michael Vick, Alex Smith. He played the position at a high level. He was a professional player, played in Canada for a long time. So I just felt really confident that he could go in and help us and take some of those young guys and give them a spark of energy and the mindset, and okay, let's go out and let's do this and get this done. Let's go try and get us a win. And then I felt as though that because Coach Nunn's in my eyes is like a head football coach, that he'd have a impact in no matter what room he went into. So him getting a chance to go into the tight ends room just showed you how brilliant he is, how much of a football coach he is, how much of a team guy he is, and a future head football coach. So that meant a lot to do that and to get Gaddis back into a room and to lead a room and to put his identity in the room and being able to see that within a week, that was important to get that done.
Coach, can you speak to how you handled Joe Filardi this week and I guess how you handled him coming off of that game? Because, he's a young kid. I know you obviously think he's got a lot of potential. Things did obviously not go well on Friday. How do you keep him from losing confidence, keeping his head up, keeping him working? I guess can you speak to, how as a coach you dealt with what happened on Friday night with Joe?
So first thing I did was called him about like 1-something in the morning. Gave him a call, asked him how you doing. That good, just let's think about the game. And I told him, you did a good job. We didn't get the points and things of that nature, but you try to protect the ball. You've done all that you can do. And I shouldn't have had you in that situation, right? And he's the guy that I thought about, right? And there was just a bunch of kids that you think about. I thought about the wide receivers and how some of them played and just knowing their talent, right, in that wide receiver room. And that's what as I was talking to him, I just felt as though I got to help this kid more. I got to be able to help our players more, and we got to be able to adapt. So I didn't want him to take that on the chin as if he'd done that. I want to make sure that he understood and know that that was because of me. And then I had to go make some moves. I had a chance to go sit down and actually I talked with my wife. And after I talked with my wife, we talked about stuff, and not particularly football, but we were just talking about a lot of things. And I woke up the next morning and I knew what I needed to do to be able to help all the kids on the football team, to help our whole team, to give our team a spark of energy, and just being able to move in a different direction.
Coach, on the note of Ricky Collins, I think I sort of speak for everyone in the fan base when I say that everyone has been very impressed with how Ricky has handled the situation and how he has answered questions and been honest and been very detailed in his answers each and every week. What have you seen from Ricky in the last couple weeks, and how has he handled the last couple weeks of practice?
He's been practicing well. He's practiced really well this week. He's getting better. He's just daily getting better. He's just coming to work, right? That's what everyone's doing. He's been able to face adversity head on, and that's something we talked about. And I told all the guys, like, if you don't know what it looks like, just follow myself. Ricky's a guy that you could follow also and just see what it looks like and stay focused and stay locked in, and he's done that. And I think him working with Coach Johnson will benefit him, right? I think it'll benefit him and step his game up. It'll give him a different insight on how some people may see the game, right? We all don't skin a cat the same way. We all don't fish the same way. But at the end of the day, we all may catch a fish, right? Or we all end up skinning the cat. And everything's done a little bit different. And I feel like styles make fights. So this move could benefit Ricky.
We've been asking you about all sorts of individual players and how the teams handle it. How's the head coach handling this? You mentioned you had a long talk with your wife the other night. You've had a lot of success over the course of your career. How are you dealing with the last month or so?
Shit, it hurt. Honestly, it hurts. It hurts losing. Losing isn't good. But I'm able to truly look at myself and just keep looking in the mirror, keep analyzing, and keep accepting responsibility and knowing the things I've done wrong, knowing some of the things that I'm doing right, and making sure that I stand up for the players and making sure that I continuously teach them how to become the men that they're supposed to become. Let them see me as a father, just working on all those things of that nature, because there's a lot of things I'm still working on too, right, and making sure that I get better. But it sucks to lose, but I told the guys, we're going to lose, you're going to lose with dignity, right? You're going to lose with the right character and stand tall for whatever you do, and just so just showing that, right? Honestly, man, losing sucks, bro. Like, I hate it. I want to say other stuff, like I hate losing. I can't really it's sad, but I know I got to be ready for the next day and for the next game and stay locked in for the players, and it's a part of it, right? The harder you practice, it just gives you a chance to win at the weekend. Just because you practice hard doesn't mean you're going to win, but it gives you a better chance of winning. That doesn't mean the other team isn't doing that. And just being able to adapt, like that's one thing that I want to show, and I want it to be seen that over the next few weeks that he always adapts, right? And I want to do that for myself, for my own growth in football, that I'm able to adapt, and I'm able to adapt, whether it be staff, whether it be go tell them this is what we need to do now, this is how things need to get done in game. And I'm hoping that could work with my staff members also, holding these guys accountable because I made a change with 3 weeks left, because if it's not the right change, we could have to make a change again, right? And there's things that you want to make sure you do because we want to win a championship. Like, we want to win a championship. I want players drafted in the first round. So there's a lot of work that has to be done. And I need to make sure that I stay focused and work on that so that way we get that done.
Coach, you use that word adapt. Do you feel like you guys have to adapt the offensive game plan a little bit more to whichever quarterback you're going to start on Saturday? Or where do you feel in terms of where the offensive playbook started the year to where it is now and the game plan that you're using on offense?
I'm going to be straightforward, and this is about me, not my coordinators or none of those guys. I feel that the losses, we should have adapted to those guys a little bit more. Those guys, they just weren't Steve, right? The offensive going, and we thought it could be that, but then afterwards we should have moved and been able to adapt to them a little bit more. And I think that they understand that. We understand that. I think that defensively, we should have been able to hold these guys down a little bit more to be able to help the offense get into a groove and understand and know who they are. But when you're young, you say, okay, I'm hoping that these guys understand and can see all the mistakes that were made, because there's so many mistakes on the field that you might not see all the time, but there's so many mistakes that, okay, at least a lot of these young guys are making them now, so they won't make them later or they won't make them next year.
You mentioned, they're not Steve. You announced earlier in the week on Monday that you have full confidence that Steve is coming back, and you had a few conversations with him, and I think that was all of our full expectations, but it's good to hear that you have full confidence that he's coming back. When you look at him returning, you look at this young core that you got, and I know that you haven't flipped the page to next year yet, but do you feel like that's helping keep everybody motivated in that locker room, the fact that next year could be a really special year?
I mean, I try to live in the moment, but we're all human, so a lot of people understand and know he'll be back. They're excited that he'll be back in spring ball, but I won't let him go full go. So that's definitely some people excited about that. They're excited about other people having the opportunity of coming in, right, being able to come in and compete, because nothing's guaranteed, right? So you're hoping that Steve's 100% healthy and his body's right, but they're also excited about other things, right? Us being able to get guys to come in. I mean, the portal's going to open up, and y'all know that's going to be like the Wild Wild West. So they're excited about that. I'm excited that for my ability to be able to recruit, because I'm going to go get some good players. Like, that's going to happen. We're going to have good players here, and you'll see a huge transition go up. But right now, we got a big game this weekend. We got to focus on Miami. Carson Beck is a dog. He can play ball. They got Ruben Bain on the other side with the whole defensive squad. I think Jason Taylor's done a heck of a job with those ends over there in the D-line. He got them playing extremely well. And Coach Heatherman, I knew Coach Heatherman. He's done well. And then their offensive line, I think that all 5 of them will probably go to the NFL. So we got our hands full. I'm excited to go down there and compete in Miami. Very thankful we get to go play against Coach Cristobal and his staff. And so we're ready to go have some fun, guys. Like, you're going to see a lot of freshmen on the field. Older guys. It's going to just be a mix of everybody playing, and we're going to play our hearts out. Like, we're playing to become bowl eligible, right? So we got to, like, every game counts. So we're going out there to compete.
You bring up their defensive line, and obviously it is a very talented defensive line. That reminds me about your guys' offensive line and matching up against them. Obviously, there have been some injuries there. TJ Ferguson left the game last week. Is there anything you can share on the current health of the offensive line?
Yeah, we banged up. We got a lot of guys won't play. We got two 2 of the seniors won't play starters, so you'll have some other guys. We'll have more freshmen playing this week, so that'd be a good deal. Yeah, whoever out there gonna compete. So, but we're ready to go. Coach Weatherspoon's out there, so he's in ready to play. Byron Watson to play again. Joe Cruz to play again. And then, so we got some other guys, and then I think we got another freshman that may start at another position. So we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited. I'm thankful. They practicing their butt off, so we'll see how it goes, right?
All right, Coach. We always love catching up with you. Best of luck Saturday at Miami. We appreciate the time as always.
I appreciate you. Y'all be safe.
All right, you as well. Fran Brown, brought to you every week by Great Lakes Honda City. And with that, we'll hit our first time out. We'll open it up to phone calls, 315-437-7644. The rest of our number one is wide open for phone calls. We are back after this on ESPN Radio.
Point Guard Advisors.
Man, Coach felt bad, the echo. He was handling it well to start.
Can we get the clips of what he said about the quarterback just so we can play them?
Yeah.
Because I actually want to hear what he. I want to hear.
Did he say a right hand with Ricky? Did you hear that?
There was an echo, so I couldn't hear what he said. It almost made it sound like he had the inside track. I couldn't tell if he said he had the inside track or didn't have the inside track. Do you know?
Yeah.
Maybe the chat can help us out with that, or even just play back those bites. But I said, "Is Ricky in the mix?" And then I couldn't tell what he said to that question.
Right. It was so quick.
Yeah. Did anybody in the chat catch what he said when I said, is Ricky still in the mix? And I heard him say he's definitely in the mix. And then, upper hand. I couldn't tell if he said he doesn't have the upper hand or if he did have the upper hand, which is obviously a big difference. Yeah, the echo was bad. May have the inside track. Okay. Yeah, that was the impression I got too. Is that it sounded like he said that he, and then I was second guessing myself because I didn't quite hear it clear.
I wish I had noticed. I don't know why the board was pushed that way. But I'm pretty sure he said he's fully in the mix.
Is it not worth playing back then? Because you can't really understand it.
You can't really. I mean, we could cut it up and.
I'm just going to listen to it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it seems like Ricky's starting based on what he was saying even outside of that, right? Was that your guys' takeaway too? I feel like he was kind of like, I'm excited for Ricky with Mike Johnson. Mike, I appreciate you listening to the games. Yeah, sorry about the echo, guys. Blame Paulie.
Yeah, I think he definitely says.
Yeah.
Probably have the upper hand.
Yeah. So we can say that confidently, I'd say. Yes, there is a Fran show tonight, Myers Creek, Inner Harbor. And not only that, but every other question he answered about Ricky made it seem like, I mean, switch to Mike Johnson. We got to adapt the offense a little bit more. It's kind of what he was getting at.
Yeah.
Watch your favorite ESPN Syracuse sports talk shows on QSportsTalk.com.
This is Orange Nation.
Stephen Fonte, Tim Leonard back with you on Orange Nation. Tim here for at least hour number one. Paulie's going to try to get here for hour number two. We've got the voice of the Orange, Matt Park, at 1:30, but phone lines open until then at 315-437-7644 as we continue our opening drive, let's say, brought to you by Burdick BMW of Cicero. And our opening drive today was Fran Brown, as usual, on Thursdays. And it sounds like...
I think the opening drive of the game. Yeah. I think it sounds like it's going to be Ricky Collins. That's my takeaway.
It sounds like it. I mean, that was my takeaway as well. And Coach did not make a firm announcement. Said he had a good idea who the starter was going to be, but nobody has been named yet. But I just went back and listened to the sound, Tim. There was a little bit of an echo on our end. I wanted to make sure I heard it clearly. Yeah. It sounds like he said, is Ricky Collins still in the mix? He said he's definitely in the mix. He'll probably have the upper hand. Is what I gleaned from what he said, and it sounds like Ricky is. It sounds like we'll see Ricky, on Saturday, and again, no official announcement yet, but that was what I took away from it.
Yeah, and we'll try and get back some of the comments. If anyone missed it, we'll try and play back some of the comments he said. Not only that, but other answers to Ricky-themed questions, I think, indicated that he feels like they need to adapt the offensive style. He said these quarterbacks aren't Steve, and he feels like that was some of the reason for the losses is they weren't adapting enough offensively. He was forthright and honest about that, which is why we love Fran Brown. Anytime he comes on here, you feel like you can ask him any question, and he's not going to dodge any of those questions. And you got to give him a ton of credit for doing that. And I don't think he wanted to outright say who the starter is because Miami probably doesn't exactly know, and he wants to keep it that way. But it does feel like Ricky Collins is definitely going to play. And I think the quarterback coach change of having Mike Johnson, he spoke a lot about how he thinks Mike Johnson is going to be good for Ricky Collins. I think that's another maybe reason why we might see Ricky Collins start this game.
Yeah, and again, it's only Thursday. I say only Thursday. I mean, the team has to practice today, so maybe he hasn't informed everybody yet. Who knows what the reason is why he held back there? But the indication that we got was that Ricky's going to be back out there, and I think that we all kind of agree after seeing what it looked like on Friday. That's probably what needs to happen, right? Not that we get a vote, but I think that, most people watch that game. And Fran even said it himself. He said, Joe, maybe it was unfair to put him out there. He might not have been ready for something like that. So, again, very honest, transparent answers from Fran Brown today, as usual. But it does sound like Ricky Collins is very much back in the mix. And, then the next question is, okay, if Ricky's back at quarterback, does this team have a shot? Does this team have a shot to beat Miami? And, if you asked me that a couple weeks ago, I would have said, no way. Now the fact that Miami has lost again and you got to question their motivation at this point. What kind of Miami team are you going to get on Saturday? I think that is a big question going into this game because if they come out, motivated and, hell-bent on trying to make up for what happened last year in the Dome, then that's one story. But if they come out and they don't have a lot of motivation because they're not going to the ACC title game, they're not going to the college football playoff, barring a miracle, that might open the door for Syracuse to pull off an upset.
Yeah, I think it's still obviously a long shot, and sure, Vegas would tell you that too. I haven't looked at the spread. I think it's 4 touchdowns or something like that, and it makes sense. Syracuse has struggled so much on offense, but I think you're hitting on the right point. It's a little bit similar to the Clemson conversation where you wondered, was that going to be the game that Clemson came out angry and focused from the beginning? or was Clemson going to be kind of checked out? And Miami is in a very frustrating position right now, not just because they are already at 2 losses and it feels unlikely they're going to make the playoff, but it happened kind of quickly here, and they went from potentially the best resume in college football at large to now we don't even have a chance maybe to make it into the ACC championship game. So I do think it's right to wonder, given how much talent is on that Miami roster and given their expectations going into the season, how motivated are they going to be to play Syracuse? I'm sure it'll still be a good crowd, and Miami will draw fairly well because that's a big-time program. But, yeah, I think that's definitely part of the calculus here when you're wondering, can Syracuse maybe sneak up on them and keep this game close?
And discipline has been an issue with that team. I mean, they are among the worst in the country. I think they're 124 in the country in penalties.
The pre-snap penalties, which has been an ongoing theme under Mario Cristobal. Interesting hearing his press conference. I was watching it this morning. And he's just like, I guess we got to go back and make some more tweaks there because it has to be driving him nuts as a coach. And I don't know, it feels like Miami follows the same script every year where they get out to a good start.
Very talented.
Yeah. I saw a headline on The Athletic this morning. It was like, why are college football writers always wrong about Miami? Because it's true. We all kind of feel that it's going to be Miami in the ACC and they're the team to beat. And then they get into November, and I think the stat is Mario Cristobal's 4-11 against ranked teams in November, which that speaks to the downfall they've had this time of year. So, I'm not exactly sure how motivated Miami is going to be. I think it's the right call to go to Ricky Collins if Fran Brown does go that way. I also don't blame him for going to Joe Filardi last week. I think it's wrong if you were a fan that was criticizing Fran for sticking with Ricky for all those weeks and saying, it can't get worse, to then completely flip the script on him after he did switch it up at the quarterback position.
We had this conversation last week before we knew who the starter was, and I said at the time, and I think we all agreed, you could make a case for all 3 guys. You can make a case for Luke Carney, you can make a case for Joe Filardi, you can make a case for Ricky Collins. And he went with a decision. He tried something different. It didn't work. And again, I think you could make a case for both. I mean, I tend to agree with you. I think Ricky's the right call, but it's Fran Brown's program. And again, if you're convinced that Ricky's not coming back next year, I understand why you would want to see what else you have in that room, which is kind of what they did last week against Pitt. So I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer here. I mean, this team's not going to a bowl game either way, barring a miracle. I mean, I don't see them beating Miami and Notre Dame in back-to-back weeks. So if you want to, get a head start on next year, I get that, and it sounds like to some degree with all the young guys that he keeps saying are going to play, I think that is part of the deal right now, is that they're working in the mix of, okay, you want to do right by the seniors, but you also want to get these young guys some actual game reps going into next year, so it's not the first time. So, and I think the quarterback position is a microcosm of that. Do you go with a Luke Carney or a Joe Filardi to get them some reps going into next year if one of those guys is the backup, or do you go with Ricky Collins because he gives you the best chance to win? So it sounds like they're going back to Ricky. You and I think that that's the right move. But if we saw all 3, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, and I do think you hit on a very telling quote from Fran in that interview was, I don't think it was right to put Joe Filardi out there, or he kind of regretted putting him out there in that situation. I do think it's been a little overblown. I mean, I had a lot of people reach out to me that aren't in Syracuse and just know that I cover the team and I work here, and they were like, What are you guys doing at quarterback? Are you starting a lacrosse player now? It was a tough spot that it was Friday night, prime time, and he is a lacrosse player, and that became kind of the storyline that everyone ran with. And Paulie talked about this. It's not like they grabbed someone off the street here,
right? But
it came across that way to like the national audience. And even Max Chadwick came on our show yesterday, and he's a Syracuse grad, and he follows Syracuse very closely, but his takeaway, I think, is kind of what the national takeaway was, where he was like, it's kind of a joke, guys, that they started a lacrosse player. And I'm not saying Max is wrong. I can understand that side of it, but I think there's more to it than he's just a lacrosse player. Like, it's not like they pulled someone off the street.
Right.
I think Fran had reason to believe that if we give this guy a chance, he could show more confidence at the quarterback position than what we had seen in the last month. And it didn't work out that way. But I also think the point that everyone made where it's insanity to do the same thing over and over and you got to switch it up at a certain point, that there's something to that as well. And Fran probably was feeling, okay, I gave him a chance, and maybe it wasn't the right call, but we'll move on with Ricky is maybe where he's thinking.
Yeah, and he has said that, in his opinion, Joe Filardi, again, I don't want to put words in his mouth because he never said Joe Filardi throws the best ball in that room. He said there's a guy I haven't mentioned yet who throws the best ball in that room. I assume he was talking about Joe Filardi. So to throw him out there and think, all right, maybe he can spark the passing game.
By the way, he did have a good arm. I mean, right.
That
wasn't his issue, really.
He wasn't super accurate.
Wasn't accurate, yeah.
I mean, that was probably the biggest issue. But, I'm with you on that they tried something different, and, Ricky was 0-4. Things were going south, and it was like, okay, let's see what this young guy can do. And, to your point, that became a cool storyline, right? Bill Belichick's in town, and we know like Belichick and his ties to lacrosse, and it's a lacrosse player. But again, Joe Filardi threw 43 touchdowns his senior year in high school to just 3 interceptions. He's got a good arm. To your point, it's not just like they picked anybody to do it. They thought he would give him a spark. He didn't, and it sounds like Fran is going back to Ricky, which again I think makes the most sense. And this goes back to the conversations we had on this show multiple weeks ago, which was, people didn't like it when I said Ricky gives him the best chance to win. Well, nobody could be worse than this guy. Well, it can get worse, and Ricky gives him the best chance to win. And again, you may not like the answer to the question, but that is the answer to the question right now, and it's unfortunate that they don't have anybody else there that can do what Steve did or be some semblance of Steve. They don't, and they're going to have to ride it out with Ricky.
Yeah, and another point I want to make, someone called into my show yesterday and said, well, if you're Ricky Collins, why would he go back out there right now after he was benched for a lacrosse player?
Show what he can do.
Yeah. Well, for sure. That's what I said. I mean, if he does want to move on and he's already thinking about where can I start next year, you probably want to get some better tape out there and improve your transfer portal prospects.
And he's got Miami and Notre Dame next. I mean, who doesn't want to go play against Miami and Notre Dame?
He's a competitor, yeah. And so I think Ricky should be applauded for how he's handled the situation. Yes. I also think we said, and I said this point a couple of times, well, you can't go away from Ricky unless you know for sure, because then you can't go back to him. Right. That was kind of our general thinking. I think we should give Fran Brown some credit for he has such a good relationship with Ricky Collins. He's honest with his players to the point where he could go back to Ricky, and it wouldn't be that shocking. Clearly, it seems like we're all now thinking that Ricky will start this game against Miami. And, if you would have told me 5-6 weeks ago that they would have benched Ricky, I think there is a world where another quarterback would have just pouted or said, I'm done. And that's not Ricky, and we should give him credit for that.
Yeah. Right. I mean, we've seen that in the past. Somebody lose the job and then say, I'm hitting the portal after the year and being gone in the middle of the season. So it can happen. It has happened. It will happen again. But you're right. I think Ricky Collins does deserve some credit with how he's handled this. We spoke with him from a Channel 9 perspective the other night during the media availability. And again, is he disappointed that he lost the job? Of course he is. But it sounds like he's got the right attitude. He said he didn't want to talk about transfer. And his focus is on finishing out the year strong, trying to get this team to a bowl game. He's saying all the right things. And it sounds like in practice he's doing all the right things. It just, for whatever reason, it hasn't translated from the practice field to game day. Hopefully he finds more success on Saturday, and this game is competitive. Because if he doesn't find more success, this game is going to be another blowout like we've seen of late. 315-437-7644 is the number if you would like to get involved in the show. Again, Matt Park coming up at 1:30. Phone lines open for the next hour. We are back after this on ESPN Radio.
This is Orange.
And no artist of the day. I don't even think we picked a topic yesterday, right?
But he told us after the show, but then we just never got around to it.
Okay. Is that in, where is it? Twitch clips? Oh. Okay. Sweet. That should be good. Let me make sure. Which one of Ricky? Like when I asked him about Ricky, or when? Are you including the upper hand, or?
I haven't included any.
What are the which answers though? Yeah. We asked him who's going to start, and then I said, "Is Ricky in the mix?"
It says Ricky, and he said, "Yeah, Ricky's an option." It's that you came up.
Got you guys.
Okay.
It says short one then.
Yeah.
It's the really short one.
So do you want the one about saying how he's handled it? You want him?
Yeah, if you could. I think it was like a couple questions after that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he said that Ricky's handled it really well. What have you seen from Ricky? And then he answered.
Yeah. He does have Coach Johnson.
Coach, is Ricky Collins at least an option going into this week? Is he still in the mix?
Yeah, he's fully in the mix. He probably had the upper hand. He's definitely in the mix.
We can play that. That sounds. Okay. I'll just cut it from when he starts.
In the mix.
Yeah, he's fully. Yeah, he's fully in the mix. He probably had the upper hand. He's definitely in the mix. Coach Johnson has coached in the NFL for over 10 years at that position. He's done a really good job. I just felt really confident that he could go in and help us and pick some of those young guys and give them a spark of energy and mindset. And okay, let's go out, let's do this, get this done. Let's go try and get us a win.
That's super noteworthy. Yeah, so it's very short. You could just say, I asked Coach Brown, who is Ricky's
He's in the mix.
In the mix, yeah. We got a caller. I don't know if Mario Cristobal could get fired. I mean, all these coaches are getting fired, but I'm not fully aware of what his contract status is or feels.
The other thing, too, is if you're going to fire a guy right now, given all of the other jobs that are open, you're going to end up with like your 12th choice.
Right. That's why I thought it would stop Auburn, but it's like one every week still.
Yeah.
Scooter.
ESPN 97.7 and 100.1. Watch live on QSportsTalk.com.
This is Orange Nation.
Stephen Fonte, Tim Leonard back with you here on a Thursday edition of Orange Nation. Hoping to have Paulie join us in hour number 2. At least that's what I'm supposed to say publicly. He can take his time, though.
No artist of the day today, Steve. I think we can blame Paulie for that.
We
Is
can
that
absolutely
fair?
blame Paulie. Yes,
okay,
we can.
Good. Glad we're in agreement.
We never picked one on the show yesterday, and then he said he was going to take care of it and then didn't, so I'm okay with it. Let's go to the phone lines. We've got Scooter in Jamesville kicking us off from a phone caller perspective. Scooter, what's up today?
A couple things. First of all, I haven't heard too many adjustments on defense, and obviously you can't be too happy with the defense. It sounds to me maybe he's more hands-on doing the defense, and he's not making different coaching changes and stuff like that. The thing that's confusing, where all these, it sounds to me there's a lot of cooks on offense now. I heard, you got one guy's now co-passing coordinator and another co-offensive coordinator. Was that way last year? It didn't.
Yeah.
What was last year? Nixon wasn't in charge of the passing coordination?
Well, he gives all the assistant coaches a little bit extra in their title. I mean, Jeff Nixon was the offensive coordinator last year. He still is the offensive coordinator this year. I think Fran also wants all these coaches to move on to bigger and better jobs, so he adds a little bit to their title. I don't think it's any different from last year, though.
Okay, so Nixon's still calling the plays, but it sounds to me that they have to dummy down the offense a little bit. It sounds like Nixon's more of a pro style, and we got lucky McCord seemed to understand it, and Zelli was going to understand it, but it sounds to me that if you're making adjustments to help the quarterbacks out, it sounds like it's getting less complicated. It's getting more simpler, and I didn't know what I'm just reading the headlines. I remember the Bills when they were having troubles with a coordinator. I think they made Grady sort of semi-co-offensive coordinator, knowing that next year he was going to take over. So I just didn't hear all these other coaches' names as coordinators. It sounded to me like a lot of cooks in the kitchen again, and we'll see, because this all boils down to next year. I mean, we can play out the system. It's interesting because a couple of weeks ago you didn't want to play freshmen because you didn't want to put them in the deep end of the pool. And he says, well, I could play the freshman, but it sounds like he's got to, because of injury, he's got to play the freshman now. So we'll see what happens. But I just didn't hear these other coaches being co-coordinators on offense. But once again, the defense, I don't hear too much adjustments on the defense side when it comes to coaching.
Yeah, I appreciate you checking in, Scooter. And he brings up an interesting point about the defense, Tim. And, you look at these last several games. Against Pittsburgh, defense played great in the first half, and things got away from him in the second half. We saw the same thing against North Carolina. Defense played great in the first half. Things got away from him in the second half. SMU and Georgia Tech, they held them both to 3 points in the first quarter, and then things started to gradually get away from them after that. How much do you think the struggles on offense are impacting the defense, whether it's a mental thing like they're trying to do too much, or even just a physical thing like a lot of 3-and-outs are going to build up to the point where you're on the field a lot? Like last week against Carolina, time of possession was very lopsided. And again, I'm not giving the defense a complete pass, but they generally have gotten off to pretty good starts defensively, and then things have gone south. How much do you blame the offense for that?
I think a good chunk of it, honestly. Yeah. I mean, I have said throughout the Ricky Collins starting experience that two things can be true about that. One, Ricky Collins has not been as good as we expected, but two, he is still the best option at the quarterback position. I think two things can be true about the defense. The defense has not been good, but I think they are making adjustments, and we applauded the adjustments in the Pittsburgh game, and Fran Brown brought in a guy like Don Brown, who is Mr. Blitz, and it seems like they're trying to hang their hat on blitzing and trying to incorporate more of an identity on that side of the ball. But I think you're right. The situation has not made it easy. They're playing some very good teams, and they always have the ball. I know UNC's offense is kind of in a different category, and I'm not saying the defense has been good, but I think you also have to weigh it. It's almost like grading Yasin Willis right now. It's just hard to really actually put it on Yasin Willis. It's a very tough situation to be successful as a running back. It's a very tough situation to be successful as a defense. And I think we shouldn't excuse that they are bringing in new coordinators and seemingly did make some changes to the defense during the bye week.
You bring up Yasin Willis and the rushing attack. They have not gotten going, obviously, during this losing streak. And you would say, okay, well, with whoever the quarterback is, whether it's Ricky Collins or Luke Carney or Joe Filardi, find some balance. Right? That's the natural fix would be, well, if they can run the football a little bit, it'll take the pressure off the quarterback, and maybe they'll have more success throwing. The problem this week is that Miami's third in the country in rushing defense and 12th in the country overall. This is a really tough defense that they're going to face on Saturday. So, if this is the week you're hoping the running game gets going, probably not going to be the case against Miami.
For anyone that missed our interview at the start of the show with Fran Brown, we've got some of the big highlights from it, Steve, that we can run through. First off, we're now kind of under the assumption that maybe it is Ricky Collins as the starting quarterback. Big reason for that is because when Steve asked him, is Ricky Collins still in the mix? Here's what Fran Brown had to say.
Yeah, he's fully in the mix. He probably had an upper hand, but he's definitely in the mix.
So it was a little hard for us to hear it initially, but that confirms it. He says he probably has the upper hand, and he's fully in the mix right now. Then we went on to ask Fran about basically how is Ricky handling everything after the last couple weeks, going away from him at the quarterback position last week. How is he doing in practice? How is he handling everything?
He's been practicing well. He's practiced really well this week. He's getting better. He's just daily getting better. He's just coming to work, right? That's what everyone's doing. He's been able to face adversity head on. That's something we talked about. And I told all the guys, like, if you don't know what it looks like, just follow myself. Ricky's a guy that you could follow also and just see what it looks like and stay focused and stay locked in. And he's done that. I think him working with Coach Johnson will benefit him.
So I think Ricky basically said it to you guys on Channel 9 on Tuesday night that all good players go through adversity at some point. I thought that was a mature answer from him. And it seems like, again, more evidence that Ricky Collins is doing the right things and probably will start against Miami.
Yeah, I mean, that's the feeling that you and I both get, and I think that based on what we saw last Friday against North Carolina, I think that's the right move. I think that you want to play the guy that gives you the best chance to win, and it seems like Ricky does that. And hearing Fran Brown talk about him today in those glowing terms about he's getting better daily and he's working hard and the team can follow him and he's a leader and, all of that, it seems like if you're reading the tea leaves, it sounds like they're going back to Ricky.
I think the next question is how much will the offense look different this week? And we can play back that answer from Fran Brown when we asked him about adapting and do you need to adapt the offensive play sheet and the game plan offensively?
And this was about me, not my coordinators or none of those guys. I feel that the losses, we should have adapted to those guys a little bit more. They just weren't Steve, right? The offensive going, and we thought it could be that, but then afterwards we should have moved and been able to adapt to them a little bit more.
So remember, too, last week when he was on the show, and you asked him about Ricky Collins and would there be a change at the quarterback position, Fran started that response and said, I love Ricky, and I also feel we could have done better in terms of adapting the offense to Ricky. And that's kind of why I wanted to ask the question, because if they are going to Ricky, it seems like they're reevaluating what is the playbook for Ricky Collins.
Yeah, and you hope that you can, find a blueprint that keeps this game competitive and gives yourself a chance, right? I mean, they're 28-point underdogs. They're on the road against a team that's better than them, but it's a team that, again, you question Miami's motivation right now. And so can they find, that blueprint to keep them in the game and, not keep going 3 and out and have the defense be on the field constantly and get worn down, as we've talked about in recent weeks, move the ball, have some success, and hopefully make it a fourth quarter game. Because if it's a fourth quarter game, you never know what can happen. But something's got to change, and hopefully Ricky can once again provide the spark. Let's go back to the phone lines. How about Scott in Liverpool? He's up next on the show. Hey, Scott.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. So I'm not calling to, bash some young kids. But I mean, we see the product on the field, and last I knew, any sport really, especially football, when your starting quarterback goes down, these guys are supposed to be ready in a sense, but are you really ever ready? And, you had a great practice, but until it's game time and you get out there and it's all real, but, just not seeing it. And like you were just saying, the defense is struggling. Well, the offense isn't out there long enough to give the defense a rest to regroup and play for the rest of the game, especially if they're out there so much. But I guess I don't know what's going to happen, moving on, the quarterback's name, I'm so sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
Ricky Collins?
Ricky Collins. Yeah, is he all of a sudden going to start to just play better? And that's no disrespect, but I don't know how that can really happen. But I mean, I hope for the kid because, isn't thrown into a position in a sense, but maybe just not quite ready. But, maybe it's a work in progress, but, and the pressure's on. I don't know. You kind of feel bad for the kid. But yeah, hopefully he can turn it around. And I just wanted to see what you guys thought.
Yeah, I think it's a good question, Scott, and obviously we don't know the answer, and everybody's different. I will say this, we did see it with Steve Angeli, where he struggled for about 7 quarters, and then all of a sudden it did click, and, he played well at the end of the UConn game, fourth quarter and overtime, and then was fabulous against Clemson. Obviously the Colgate game was in between. He was very good against Colgate as well, for what it's worth. and you hope with Ricky that he gets better. I don't know if he's all of a sudden going to snap his fingers and be Patrick Mahomes. That's not going to happen. But can he be better? We even saw Tim in the Pittsburgh game where he struggled really badly in the first half, and then he sat for those couple of drives when Luke Carney came in, and then he was better. Now it didn't lead to an amazing comeback victory, but he was better in the second half of the third quarter and the fourth quarter in that game than he was in the first and second quarter. So, it's a work in progress. Everybody handles these things differently. You hope that he's better than he was, and maybe the week off did him some good, and I think that's what you have to hope for.
Yeah, and I think you hope that the offensive playbook maybe being a little bit more tailored to him, and however they go about that, maybe that improves his chances of getting better. I'm with you. I don't think we're going to see night and day difference in Ricky Collins at this point. I feel like if it was going to click to an extent of like Steve Angeli, it would have clicked already. But he's getting a little bit better each week, even though people probably want to ignore that. He went from bad to slightly, better, but it's still... It's a work in progress with him, and I'm not expecting a big game against Miami, but I think it's right to assume that he'll get a little bit better each week.
And, getting back to the defense for a second, I've had a lot of people say to me, well, it's not just because they lost the quarterback that this season went south. Like, look at the defense and how many points they're giving up. But I really do think that there is a correlation between losing the starting quarterback and what has happened on the defensive side of the ball. Is it, do they get a complete pass, as I said a moment ago? No, they don't get a complete pass. But I do think them being on the field and them constantly, playing from behind, and again, that affects how the opposing offense is going to play when that team's working with a big lead. So it's, I don't think this is all on the defense that they've given up so many points. I think the offense has certainly contributed to that. Let's take a timeout. We'll wrap up hour number one on the other side. If you're on hold, stay on hold. We'll get to more phone calls next on ESPN Radio.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are
Yeah, we can do. We don't have to be right at one, so we could do the Lee Baldwin and then go to Chuck. Okay. Yeah, my feeling on the defense is I haven't looked recently. Maybe they're ranked like 100th in the country right now in defensive numbers. I don't think good. Yeah, it's not good. I don't think it would be I think it would be like 60 or 70th defense.
Scoring defense.
Yeah,
is ugly. Like bottom 10 in the country.
Right.
Let's see.
See what
Oh, maybe not. 112 they are.
Hey, Paulie.
Just finished.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm going to go get my Christmas.
Kill the mics for a second.
I'm ruining everybody's day. I'm back. Doesn't even have the damn chat open. How rude. You guys not been talking to the chat?
No, we have been. I'm watching. I'm monitoring. I feel like it's.
Shouldn't that be a Lee Baldwin person?
Yeah, they haven't called him yet. He's been on hold since the end of the last segment.
Guys, I'll open the chat. You guys may hate me.
I'm monitoring the chat.
You guys are. I can't leave for an hour. It's unreal.
So you didn't hear Fran, obviously, right? So we asked him if he had decided on a starter yet. He said, I know who. He's like, I pretty much have decided, but I want to talk to the other coaches, and I want to see the rest of practice this week. And then I said, well, Ricky didn't play at all. Is Ricky still in the mix? He said, he's fully in the mix, probably has the upper hand. And then Tim asked him about how Ricky's handled the whole situation. He was very glowing about how Ricky has, handled the whole thing. And it sounds like they're going back to Ricky. So just to brief you on that.
So he didn't lose that number?
No.
Chat is opening. Hold, please. Tim Leonard just ignoring it. You guys don't know who butters your bread around here? The chat.
I have been monitoring. We've been talking casually. They actually helped us out because we couldn't really hear what Fran said to the Ricky question, so they helped us tell us what it was, and then we went back and listened, and because it was a little
My
echoey.
mammogram was fine. I'm using Tim Leonard's headphones. It is Orange Nation. I don't like these headphones. I am Paulie. I'm back, Steve.
Paulie is back.
Took an hour break.
You're back earlier than we thought. I said the second hour. We get a bonus segment of Paulie.
Yeah, we get to find out about the stocks. We got rid of the dog, and the diamond has arrived.
Let's go to our good friend Lee Baldwin. Lee, what's up? How's the market today?
Hey, guys. Market not so hot, but glad to be on the show with you. Stocks are trending lower, led by tech stocks with the NASDAQ down about 1.75%. We do have a diamond, though. Eli Lilly is gaining almost 1%. They lowered the cost of their obesity drugs. So maybe that's a classic case of gaining when you are losing. And our dog goes to mobile learning platform Duolingo, down 26% after lower earnings. But at least we can say dog in 40 different languages. So there you have it, guys.
Lee, I have a question for you that came up yesterday.
Yeah.
All right. How do you guys decide who's coming on the show? Is it like a punishment? Is it? Are you guys fighting over it? How do you guys decide who comes on each day?
We play pitch all morning, and the winner gets to go on. And the winner gets to go on.
Nice. It's a prize.
Yes.
All right. What an honor.
Yes, and so I had a big 3 bid, and here I am.
Congratulations.
All right, Lee. Thanks for coming on. Have a great rest of your day. That's Lee Baldwin. All the diamonds, none of the dogs. Be sure to visit LeeBaldwin.com.
Little extra black eyed peas. Paulie's back. Let's go to Chuck in North Syracuse. Steve.
Chuck, thanks for holding. How are you?
Hey, Steve. Scooter had a good point about keeping it simple, I think. I'm sure their game plan is to stack the line on us and just force us to pass because we can't pass. So if that's the case, what about some short passes over the middle? Use the tight end more slants. I hate to see Ricky and these quarterbacks throw balls down the field to the sidelines, like Kyle McCord could dump them in there. These guys can't really do that. So, they're going to force us to pass the ball. And so make short passes, and we just play for first downs, keep possession of the ball, and keep the ball out of their hands.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a solid philosophy. You want to make it as simple on Ricky as possible, and that's one of the things that's been one of the knocks against him, right? Is that he gets locked in on his first receiver, and he doesn't necessarily go through progressions. So, yes, I think short passes are good, but I think Miami's also going to be looking for that, right? I mean, defensively, they're very good. You know, I mentioned it earlier, 3rd in the nation in rushing defense, 12th in total defense. So, you know, at some point you're going to have to try and stretch the field to keep them honest. But, you know, yeah, I think that is, in theory, that's a good philosophy to have, Paulie. It just, you know, Miami's going to be looking for that too.
Steve, there's something else that's gone under the radar here, and it's easy just to point the finger at the quarterback. If you're looking at the balls that Filardi threw last game, they were never to a wide open receiver. There was somebody right on them at all times. And it's been that there has not been separation between the receivers. You know, have the throws been bad? Yeah. But this is more than just a quarterback problem. This is not having veteran receivers. This is not having Gadsden and Pena and those guys also. It's not just a quarterback.
Yeah, and you didn't even mention the offensive line, and it is a very banged-up offensive line right now. I mean, this is collectively the offense is going through some stuff, right? You know, you've got a backup quarterback, and in something like last week, essentially your 4th-string quarterback was starting. You've got a banged-up offensive line. You know, your receivers are a little banged up as well. You know, think about how Justice Ross Simmons got off to a great start this year. You know, they're collectively, like, across the board on offense, they're dealing with some things. And, you know, they haven't dealt with it well. I mean, but I don't know how many teams would in the situation that they're in.
Yeah, and it's not every time. I'm not saying every time the receivers aren't open, but last game, I remember the one that was wide open, the receiver didn't catch the ball, and that receiver complains about getting the ball. So, yeah, it happens. It's not just the quarterback. Right. This whole offense is a work in progress, and it hasn't been pretty.
I will say this, a really good quarterback like Kyle McCord or, you know, Steve Angeli seem to be trending in that direction, can make up for some of the issues, right?
Yeah.
And so,
but not all of them.
No, I know, but I'm saying that sometimes you can hide some of the blemishes if you've got a really good quarterback. And I think, you know, we saw that through, 13 games, last year and 4 games this year. Unfortunately, when he goes down, now I think instead of hiding some of the blemishes, I think they are, they're on full display when you're going with a backup.
Yeah, and I'm not saying the receivers are bad, because even when Angeli was here, they were making bonkers catches. Like they were mossing people to get those catches that Angeli was throwing.
Yeah, I think that there has been a trickle-down effect, though. It started with the injury to Angeli, and things have snowballed for this team to the point where they are right now. 5-game losing streak, 3-6, and again, looking at a losing season. I mean, I think we would all agree this team's not going to a bowl game, and it becomes developmental at this point, looking ahead to next year.
Yeah, and I don't think it would have been linear if Angeli had stayed healthy either. Like, I think there would have been ugly games with Angeli also.
Could be.
And would they have more wins? Probably. Would they have been closer? Probably. But I don't think it would have been linear where they were just going to go out and all of a sudden this was a 10-win team.
Yeah. I mean, I think they would have had more wins. I think they certainly beat Carolina. I think, you probably beat Pittsburgh at home. I mean, the defense played great that day.
Yeah, that's the one I would say you could probably say they would get away with Pitt.
You don't think Carolina? You don't think
the
they
rest?
would beat Carolina?
I don't know offhand. I can't. I don't.
Carolina's not very good.
I know, but
okay.
I'm just saying from the way
they
played,
halftime with one completion.
They played out. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I think they probably, instead of 3-6, I think you're probably looking at 5-4 at this point, in my opinion.
And then you're going to get 6.
And then
with
you
BC.
get 6 with BC, right?
Yeah.
So, in any event, it's a shame that it played out the way it did. Let's take a timeout. Hour number 1 in the books. We'll kind of reset here. We've got the voice of the Orange, Matt Park, coming up at 1:30. Hour number 2 starts next on ESPN Radio.
It's not, guys, I didn't have anything done to my butt. Leave your fantasies out of this. I just went in to get my CAT scan results. I know you guys fantasize about me, but you need to settle down. It was just a follow-up to the CAT scan. And no fingers, no gels, no tubes, no cameras, just a result. I did get probed, but it wasn't this trip. It was the last trip about a month and a half ago where I got the. Steve, you want to see my new tattoo?
Oh, yes. Please. Wow. Look at that. That's really well done.
Thank you.
Great detail.
It's sore.
Yeah, it's not covered, though, because it could get infected.
What?
No, it could get
leaky.
Leaky. Yeah, the ink would.
They put one of those meat maxi pads on it yesterday.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
like when you go to the go to
You
the
peel it off.
butcher.
Yeah.
I call it a meat maxi pad.
Yeah,
So
but I
think
strangely, I knew exactly what you were talking about.
I think that's the scientific name for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fine. No stones, no enlarged prostate. I just pee a lot. Thank you. I just pee a lot. It's just what I do. Oh, I wish God would take me. Oh, I wouldn't have to do this show anymore. Oh, that sounds beautiful. The only thing that would suck is I wouldn't have Indy with me. So I'll wait till I can meet her up there. And we can chase squirrels together.
That's so sweet.
Do I have a cat in my belly? What does that even mean? Oh, a CAT scan. I get it. Yeah. Nope. Unfortunately for you guys, I'm fine. All you that told me my soda was causing stones, you were wrong. If Steve killed Indy, I would.
I would never
murder.
I would never. I saw that comment too. I would never. I'm not even gonna joke about that.
That's what a real friend would do. Okay, I can see that. I don't think anybody's going to understand what, even the Comic-Con dorks are going to understand what my tattoo is. No, Indy will go to Aunt Michelle's house, my sister. She's her godmother. No, I didn't get try. I got the Cross of Coronado from Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade. If Syracuse wins out the rest of the season, I'll get a barbed wire tattoo on my arm.
What do you want to do here? Do you want to talk about Ricky Collins because you haven't had a chance to, or the rundown says basketball?
Let's do basketball.
Okay.
Indy is my beneficiary. Welcome back to Orange Nation, hour number 2. It's just regular bump day because yesterday I forgot to tell everybody what the national day was, and we never said.
What was it?
Money.
Money, because you picked before we left.
It was National Money Back Day or something.
Gotcha.
It's also National Men Cook Dinner Day.
Really?
So go home and cook your wife dinner. There's so many things that just make men do, holidays that just make men do things. It's horrible.
Maybe that means we're not doing enough during the rest of the year.
It might be, or they're just taking advantage of us.
Could be.
I don't have a woman.
Both can be true.
I guess you don't need, I guess I was just reading that. You don't need a woman to have to cook dinner for Men Cook Dinner Day. You could just go home and cook yourself dinner.
You could.
Because you're a man and you're making dinner. It doesn't say make dinner for a woman day. So.
That's true.
Okay.
That is true.
I'll accept this holiday. Every day is National Men Makes Dinner Day at my house.
There you go.
For a lonely single loser, like the chat calls me. Ready to talk some hoops, or you want to talk football? What do you want?
No, let's talk basketball. Let's drive into our second hour. It's brought to you by Burdick BMW of Cicero.
It is.
So go ahead.
You want it? We're gonna play Guess the Minute, Steve. we're gonna. This sounds like another fun one. Man, do we do these?
Do we have to make it add up?
No, because it's not going to be. You don't have to make it add up. It's going to be what they average at the end of the year, right?
No, I know, but
you're not just guessing the minutes for a game. You're going to guess what they average.
Right, but do you have to make it? It should, to do this properly, it should add up to 200 minutes because you've got 5 guys on the floor times 40. It's a lot of math, but we can try to do this on the fly. We can do our best.
Like JJ only got like 5 minutes last game.
No, I know. I'm saying, but their averages, it has to add up to 200 to do this properly.
No.
Well, that's how it works.
That sounds horrible.
You can only have 5 guys on the floor at once.
This is. I'm not here to do homework. Okay, you do the math. We'll agree. So
okay. All right.
I think Nathan George is going to average 35 minutes a game. Would you have higher or lower on that?
Okay. I had 34 in mind, but sure. 34, 35 minutes. What do you want to put? 35?
35 sounds better to me.
Okay. I think Starling, I'm going to go a little less with him.
Yeah, I'm going to go 30.
30 minutes. Okay. I was thinking a couple more than that, but
I think he's going to sit a little more during these games than anybody else.
Right, but if he doesn't play at all, then that won't affect his average.
Right, but I'm also saying even if he's here, he's going to sit more.
Play. Okay,
because the 2 guys, they'll probably want Cayenne to get reps. What do you think? You agree? I don't want to force you into it.
I was going to go 32.
Okay,
but
that's fine. That's
but
good.
That's going to make the math more difficult. But
okay, 30.
30?
Yeah.
Okay. 30 minutes. Let's skip Nate King's for a second. I think I think we have to talk about him a little bit. Donnie's going to play a lot.
35? I think he's the one that's staying on the floor out of
I think he might play the most minutes on the team.
38.
I'll say 30. Let's go 36.
Okay, 36. Could have just kept it.
Well, I see. Because we were trying to make him round numbers. No, let's just do this the way that we think it's going to happen. William Kyle.
25. 30.
I would say higher than 25.
30.
30.
Okay. Because I was saying Donnie's going to move to the 5 and they got a backup at points. But I'll go 30.
Okay. Circle back to Nate King's here.
20 from what I've seen.
I don't think that's a bad guess. I think
I think he and Betsy will split the time.
Well, they got to work. They got to work Sadiq in there too, because if Donnie Freeman's getting 36 minutes a game, you got to find ways to get Sadiq on the floor. And so, my guess is you're gonna see those guys on the floor at the same time. I would think.
Okay. So, how many do you think for Nate? 20?
Yeah, I would say I think it's a shade more than 20. I think it's more like,
24.
like 22, 23, something like that. I don't know if it's going to be a complete, split right down the middle. Let's give him the nod because he's a starter. Let's give him a few more minutes.
22?
Okay.
All right, what's that put us at with the starters?
5, 7, and 6 is 13, 4, 7, 9, 123 minutes.
Okay, so we got about 70-something minutes to split up amongst the rest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cayenne Anthony.
Hang on a second. Did I do that wrong?
This is the epitome of what I say never to do on the air. Tim Leonard did this to us. Never do math on the air.
Okay. I think we're good.
Okay. You have a calculator on your phone, so do I.
All right. You want to do that? Yes, you're right. We could do
Cayenne
that.
Anthony, I will put at 22 also, right?
Yeah, I think Yeah, I think that's about right. I think he's going to play about 20 minutes a game.
Okay. Sadiq White. 18, 20. Boy, this is fun watching you punch numbers into a calculator. I think Sadiq White will play 20.
Okay.
Okay.
We're running out of minutes quickly here.
And then
plus 22.
Where are we?
Hang on. 35 and 30.
Oh my.
Plus 22. Plus 36.
Welcome to Paint Drying Radio.
Plus 30.
I am your host.
Plus 22. Plus 22. Is that possible? I think we mismanaged our minutes. I think we mismanaged our minutes. It says we're at 197. That means Tyler Betsy's only getting 3 minutes.
And nobody else is. I get. This is the best segment since the bird bracket.
See, that's why I said we had to put more time into this. Yeah, we mismanaged the minutes, Paulie, because we've only got 3 minutes left for Betsy.
So who the hell's not play? This isn't gonna work for Coach Autry. Cancel the whole season.
So maybe the starter, maybe we overshot with Donnie, and Donnie playing 36, Nathan George playing 35.
That's less than Nathan George played last year.
Yeah.
You know what? Wasabi Dude's right. You know what? We just proved this is why you can't have a huge rotation of players. There's not enough minutes to go around. Gen B just merged this segment with the bird bracket and called us Bird Brains.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. When you're all brilliant that this guy should be playing, we just proved to you there's not enough minutes for this.
Tyler Betsy gets 3 minutes, and there you go.
It took us 15 minutes in year 5 to figure out why people don't play because there's not enough time.
Well, if you're wondering what coaches are doing,
Yes.
they're trying to figure this out. It takes longer than 15 minutes. I said going into this segment that we should have planned this out better because it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. If we're giving Sadiq and Cayenne both more than 20 minutes per game, then who in the starting lineup is playing less than 20 minutes per game?
So you guys calling in bitch about the coaches. We just literally blew our own brains out trying to figure out how to do it, and we don't even have to do it.
I feel like we should take a break and try again.
There's no way to make everybody happy.
All right. That was fun.
I hope you guys learned a valuable lesson there. And our worst segment was ever was the most knowledgeable one. Lesson learned.
All right. Let's hit a timeout. I really would like it.
When we'll figure out, we'll do another math equation for you.
I feel like we should try this again tomorrow after we've had time to think about it.
Is this why you cheat all the time so we don't have segments like this?
I don't cheat, but this is hard to do just on the spot because it's got to add up to an exact number. So we're going to have to make some adjustments.
That's why I said we shouldn't have done it in the 200 thing because there's going to be games where these guys don't.
But you can't. You said what are they going to average?
Just be inaccurate.
So if we give them all more minutes, then they can't average 230 minutes. That's not possible. So as a team. Anyway. All right. We'll take a timeout.
It's time for today's business, and Tim is going to get an earful from me with that segment. It looked brilliant on paper.
Back after this on ESPN Radio. We know how to do math. It's just it's got to add up to 200. This does not add up to 200. If 3 of your starters are going to play more than... Or 4 of your starters are going to play more than 30 minutes, which is what we had. The bench isn't going to play that much.
I'm starting to question that 3-9 myself, guys. I at least admit I'm stupid. I'm a fucking dummy.
I don't know. We just got to make some adjustments with our minutes.
Is 3-9 your IQ?
Funny.
It was. It was a lesson learned. 2 lessons.
So when Tim has done this in the past, because I've heard him do this in the past, he actually has it done before he goes on the air. Yeah. So that would have been That would have been the better play, was to have it done before we go on the air.
See, we should.
I also thought you guys could do it on the fly. If you had to, but
We also
we
should
can, clearly.
you have to go like, okay, backcourt. We'll say Nathan George 35. That leaves 5 minutes. We'll say J.J. Starling 32. That leaves 8 minutes. That's 13 total minutes for.
So
Cayenne.
that goes
Is
to
that
Cayenne?
enough?
Yeah, right.
Then you got to go like one by
Yeah,
one.
that was our mistake. Like when we gave
See, I would
Cayenne
have done it
22.
like the match game where we're just guessing, and then at the end of the year we see if we match. It.
Well, when you said, we can talk about it on air.
No,
When
it's
you said,
over with. I'd rather just put that behind us.
When you said 38 minutes for Donnie Freeman, I was out there like, what? Like,
I have.
what happened to gassing out?
I have. I had more fun at the doctor when he was probing me than that segment. But that involved digits also.
Do you have a kicker, Paul?
No, I don't. Let me find one. I just typed kicker into the freaking search bar. Like it was just going to give me my kicker. But dope today.
Kind of how I feel today. You passed me those headphones that I was using.
Oh, yeah. They're muffled.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure this out.
I can read you mine. You can critique it.
Yeah, I got it.
You gave the starters.
The starters had too many minutes. So I'm gonna go.
Nathan George, I think, led the conference in minutes last year with 35.
Well, right. I think he's gonna play a lot, but I'm gonna bump him to 32. So if we go him and Starling 32 each, Kings gets 20, Freeman gets 35, Kyle gets 28, and then I gave Cayenne 18, Sadiq 22, Tyler Betsy 13. Okay, so that adds up to 200. I just needed a second. Goodness gracious, Paulie.
Why are you yelling at me?
38 minutes for a
Because-
big. It's just
Why are you coming at me? You were doing
I gave him 30. So then I bumped it to Donnie. I gave him. Well, we said 36, but I think no.
Why are you yelling at me about this? Like,
Because I said we should have it done before we go on the air. See?
I got here at 1, dude. You had it in front of you for an hour. Do it. Don't come
I thought
at
we
me.
were going to talk football
I
instead
would-
of second hour because you hadn't had a chance yet.
That's not what the rundown says.
I know, but I was
You're
going to
awfully blamey right now. How about taking some response? How about taking some?
Well, we were supposed to have. I blame somebody else.
Welcome back to Orange Nation.
Lots of yelling right now.
Steve is blaming me for his whole life's worth of problems.
All right, I've made the adjustments.
The rhythm hit him.
It now adds up to 200 minutes.
This is.
Oh, sorry.
This is now today's.
Are you on the wrong mic?
He is. He's on 4. Now
what
he's
a
on
nightmare.
3. Yeah.
This is now today's business.
This is why I
Yes.
should have just
Brought
said
to you by Superior Plus Propane.
All right, so I made some slight adjustments during the commercial break, okay? So our biggest issue, Paulie, is we gave the starters just too many minutes. So if you bump them down a little bit. So we gave Nathan George 35. I put him and Starling both at 32. Kings I bumped from 22 to 20. Donnie I bumped down from 36 to 35. William Kyle from 30 to 28. Okay, so that gives us a little more wiggle room. So just slight adjustments.
Okay.
Cayenne gets 18 minutes. Sadiq gets 22 minutes. Tyler Betsy gets 13. Now, I don't know if I feel great about that. I think that maybe Betsy's going to get a little more than that. But that adds up to 200, and I feel better about that now that we make it add up to 200. Tim is here. Tim, you've tried this exercise, and you did it the proper way. You thought about it before you went on the air, and then you laid it all out. So what did you have numbers-wise?
Yeah, you guys definitely just gave too many minutes to the starters. I had Nathan George. He played about 35 and a half minutes per game last year for Georgia Tech. That was tops in the ACC, I believe. I think Starling was also inside the top 4 in minutes per game in the ACC last year. I had George at 35 minutes just because I think they really want him out there running the point guard spot as much as possible. I had JJ at 32 minutes, so that left 13 minutes in the backcourt for Kiyan Anthony, which feels low. I did do this like a week ago. I would say Kiyan is playing better now than I maybe was anticipating. Then I just had the forward minutes, 28 minutes for Nate Kings, followed by 12 minutes for the backup forward Tyler Betsy. And the front court minutes, I had less minutes for Donnie Freeman. I feel like it's unrealistic to think Donnie's going to play 35, 36 in that neighborhood a night, maybe on occasion, but I think his average will be more like 29, 30 minutes. So I had 29 minutes for Freeman, William Kyle 25 minutes. So that way I could incorporate some minutes for Akir Soiree, who has 8 minutes off the bench, and Sadiq White with 18 minutes off the bench.
Yeah, that sounds good. And yes, Soiree's probably going to play some. And you're right. I mean, I guess I'm looking at it like Donnie in the games that matter. And you're right. Yeah. There's a lot of games that don't. So like the Mercyhurst and the Stonehills and the Delaware States, that'll bring the average down a little bit.
I still think that you called me an idiot.
I didn't call you an idiot. I think Donnie is going to play either the most minutes or the second most minutes on this team. Do we agree on that?
Yes.
Maybe George is number 1.
Yeah, I think that.
And Donnie is, in my mind, Donnie's either number 1 or number 2.
2, because he rebounds and scores.
I think in the big games, he might be number 1. In the games that Vegas and ACC games, he might play the most minutes, but I think Nathan George.
I'm
is
just willing
to
bet if you went to the ACC minutes per game list last year, it'd be a lot of guards and probably not. And I think you got to factor that in a little bit.
Some of that is foul trouble,
Yeah.
Here's the thing: I don't know how much you can afford to take Donnie off the floor this year.
I agree with you. I think though the takeaway from doing the exercise is it's really hard to play 10 or 11 guys. Like I sort of stretched and felt like I was underselling some guys just to get Soiree some minutes and get to 9 guys. So Red, I think, has it in his head that he can go 10 or 11 deep, and he can. But when you play Houston, how are you going to work in Luke Fennell? And
you're not.
You're just not. I mean, it's just too many guys. It's too tough.
Yeah. I'm glad that we got a second crack at this segment because it shows you how difficult it is that it's all got to add up.
I agree.
The adding wasn't the problem. The making it fit to 200 minutes is the problem.
If you guys saw in the break how Steve treated me.
They did. People did.
No, I'm talking to the radio.
Okay.
Listeners.
I didn't treat you poorly.
It was not a good look for you, Steve.
All I said was this is why we should have done this ahead of time.
No, that is not all you said. You said, this is your fault. I blame you.
I didn't say it like that.
Oh, my God, Steve, you did. You're gaslighting now. You just emotionally abused me during the commercial, and now you're gaslighting me. All right, what do you got else for us? Anything? There was one stat that you have on here, and I think this is crazy. There were 10 dunks in the game, right?
Yes,
You've
correct.
got that. Most since 2012. I think there were more dunks in that game than there were all of last season. I don't know.
That's not true, but I know what you mean. I mean, I was saying the same sort of stuff on the air.
It's got to be close. I bet you there was like 20 dunks last year.
No, there was one game last year where they had 7 dunks against Albany. Think about how many breakaway.
I guess before Donnie got hurt.
Yeah, because
after
Chris Bell would dunk on like a breakaway.
After Donnie got hurt, there were zero ACC game dunks.
I think there were very few alley-oops last year. I don't really remember many alley-oops off the top of my head. Like Jesse Edwards would catch a lob, but when's the last time Eddie Lampkin didn't pull down any alley-oops or
no?
Yeah, so
Not
I think
it's
fair to say they are going to demolish the dunk stats of last year.
Yes.
But I don't even know what a guess would be at how many total dunks they had last year because you got to keep in mind
Lampkin didn't dunk until I remember the SMU game. He started he was healthy enough to start dunking.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, you had Donnie, you had Chris Bell. I don't think JJ's ever dunked that I can remember.
Lucas Taylor wasn't really dunking.
Yeah.
Kyle Cuff liked to try.
He missed a lot.
Kyle Cuff led the league in
He liked to
missed
try.
dunks.
Yes.
Yeah.
He said him and Terrence Roberts used to miss a lot of dunks.
All right. Anything else? You got a kicker, Paul.
I do. Dateline Miami, guys. 4 students from Margate Middle School on Wednesday were hospitalized after they were exposed to edibles. 4 of the students were hospitalized and released to their parents. Police said all were in stable condition. They don't know how they got edibles, but they believe that someone thought they were a snack at home and brought them in and shared them with their fellow students. So maybe some brownies or some gummies, and 8th grade was high as hell in Miami yesterday.
Guess so. 8th grade, what's that? That's
14, 13 years old.
13, 14, yeah.
That was not a worry when I was a kid. Like if someone brought in a little Debbie for you and you shared it, you weren't getting high.
Right.
That's got to be weird as hell for an 8th grader. You have zero idea that you're getting high, first of all. And then second of all, being high and having no idea what's going on has to be wild.
Yeah.
Because like as an adult, you might realize what's happening. You'd be like, oh my God, I think that was an edible. Or as a kid, you're just like, all of a sudden the wall's talking to you.
Yeah.
Hey, that clock's got a face on it. Govendo says his dog ate weed once, a nug. Yeah, I see lots of videos of dogs having to like go to the vet and they're just high as hell because they ate the edibles. Thank you.
All right.
Was that a kicker?
It was a kicker. We don't want to keep Matt Park waiting.
You
Voice of the
didn't seem very
Orange
interested.
joins us next. Well, we're up against the clock here. Matt Park next on ESPN Radio.
Steve would definitely call an ambulance. Yeah, people say you were really, really mean in the last break.
I don't think I was mean.
Hey, dude, you were.
Do you agree we should have done that before we went on the air?
Yeah, but you yelling at me about it like it was my fault was not kosher.
Yeah, well, it's in reality neither one of our faults because we were supposed to have something else at 1 o'clock.
But then you blamed me.
I did it to be funny.
No,
I
you
don't blame you.
It's not your natural
fault. I
You're
apologize.
gaslighting right now.
I apologize, Paulie. It was not your fault. It was somebody else's fault that cost us the opportunity to speak with Adrian Autry today. And he knows who he is.
Would I ever slip Steve an edible? No, I wouldn't. If we were just hanging somewhere, and I know you didn't have to do anything for 24 hours, maybe I would. Like if he and I were on vacation and I was like, hey, you want to hang out by the pool for a day? Yeah, let's do it. Bloop. Little Roofy. Roofy and his, what would you drink if you were laying at the pool with me? An IPA?
Sure. That would never happen. I mean, I can't even get you to have lunch with me.
Oh, my God. If we were like, what if we were like, so we get shipped to San Diego for the NCAA tournament.
Oh, we have so much downtime when we go on work trips.
You get one day.
Well, you may. I don't. In TV, we don't.
Oh, for God's sakes! If you get there a day early, just play along with me for fuck's sake today. What is wrong with you? You and I. I'm not talking about doing weed. You and I are hanging by the pool and we're being tropical. What are you having?
What am I having? Well, if I have to work later.
Jesus, criminy Christmas! You don't have to work later. I'm just asking you to have a drink with me by the pool.
What are you having?
I'll probably have maybe a Mai Tai or a nice Alabama Slammers are good. Those are fruity.
I've had one of those before.
Why is this so hard for you? Okay. You can't even have imaginary fun.
I can't even imagine doing anything with you because every time I ask you to do something, you're like, nah, I don't
That's not what we're doing here.
Okay.
Watch. I will ask Matt Park what he would have by the pool with me, and he'll answer in 10 seconds. Sex on the beaches are good for the pool. You know what else is good? A nice amaretto on the rocks. That's always good by the pool. Am I wrong today, guys, with him? Like, this is insufferable today. Dude can't play along. It's not even playing along. Just name a drink. Lie to us. I'd have a Corona. Okay, that's great, Steve. Thanks. There are no wrong answers, and he can't find one.
I refuse to play along with you.
Yeah, just say a drink. Shock us all. Say you're going to have like a bourbon. Not being able to name a drink is weird.
I can name a drink. I'm not playing along.
Why?
Because we would never do that, first of all.
It doesn't matter.
Why?
All I want to know is like, okay, you and your wife are by the pool. What are you drinking?
I'm not playing
I can't
along.
do this show any longer. Welcome back to Orange Nation. I wanted to take the second hour off today, and I really wish I had.
You should have. Yeah, I was excited when you weren't here, and then you came back. You even came back earlier than normal. And here we are.
All right, now I was trying to play a game with you during the break, and I'm going to show you how it's done here, how a normal human would handle this. All right? Matt Park, you and I, we somehow, for some reason, the NCAA tournament ships us to the first round game in San Diego. We have a day off. We're sitting by the pool. What are you having as a drink?
Whatever they'll bring me. I would
anything.
I would do a beer probably, but by the pool maybe a vodka.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get that.
Vodka,
yeah, that's
soda,
nice.
something
nice.
like that.
Nice. Thank you for playing along.
Well,
now the real question is: would you and Paulie ever do? Would you ever do that? Would you ever sit by the pool with Paulie? That is never happening.
Very, very unlikely.
Yes. Yeah, I don't leave my room on the road anymore.
I'm aware. You don't do anything ever.
I used to. There's been times I've gone out and
yeah, I think the emphasis is on used to. Paulie is a.
I'm retired.
Right. If Paulie presents something as a possibility, it's a pretty good bet it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Agreed. All right.
But at least you can hypothetically play along.
Yeah. I'm tired of playing along with these things because they'll never happen.
I know, but I'm trying to get people to know you and like get a feel for you, like, make you relatable. Like, hey, you know what? Steve likes a nice Corona by the pool. I get that.
So Matt just said he would probably have a beer. So if I said I would have a beer with you, Paul, that would make me more relatable.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
you are the least relatable human I know.
Okay. All right. I would have a beer with you, Paul.
Thank you.
All right.
Those are the best type of social events that Paulie is really good at, is the hypothetical ones, the ones where he doesn't actually have to show up or pay for it.
Well, we were. I think the other night that was the first time you and I had done anything in public in
since
multiple
the Gala. Yeah,
I was going to say multiple years.
By the way, Matt, thank you for the nice shout out at the awards, and congratulations on the Glickman Award.
Thank you, Paulie, and yours is well deserved. You have
thank you.
Been where we've asked you to be most of the time for 25 years.
Isn't that what Jim Boeheim said? That he's always on time.
Yeah, he's never late.
Yeah, right. He's always on time. He's got that going for him. No, it was a great night, Matt, and I want to pass along my congratulations to you as well. I guess before we get into football and basketball, what stood out to you most from that night with all the legends in town and being honored in that way?
Well, it was great. I think a lot of those people and what they've meant to me and to any sort of breaks or any degree of success that I've had is largely by stealing what I can from those that have done it ahead of me. And in particular, Dan Horde and Sean McDonough and Mike Tirico, Iron Eagle, have been always somebody that you can check in with and very supportive. And if I'm able to pass that on to current and future students to any degree, it really comes from them to begin with. The thing that probably struck me the most that I kind of found myself telling people about that weren't here is I think Marv Albert really enjoyed being here. And he doesn't come back to campus very often, and he's getting up there in years, but he feels a kinship with Marty Glickman, which is, I'm sure, the first most compelling reason for him to be here. And he flew up with Bob Costas, and they've worked so closely together for so long. And for him to be back and to speak to students and see campus, and I wish Coach Boeheim could have made it. They may have met up separately for all I know. But that part to me was really cool just because, Sean and Mike and the rest of it, we talk a little bit here and there, and shoot, Mike's here all week because he's involved in so many things and is on campus fairly regularly. So I don't want to say that we take that for granted because he's awesome and so giving of his time. But just Marv just doesn't make it to Syracuse very often, so it was very cool to have him here.
All right, Matt, let's talk some football, I guess we'll start with. And I don't know if you happen to hear Fran Brown at the top of the show, but we asked him about the quarterback situation. I'm sure you've had a chance to ask him about the quarterback situation, and we'll do so tonight on the Fran Brown Show. He made it sound like Ricky's going to be the starter again. Didn't say that. He said it wasn't official yet, but said that Ricky's very much in the mix, and I believe the quote was even has the upper hand right now. What do you think about benching him for a week, having him sit, and now kind of going back to him here after we saw what it looked like against North Carolina?
Yeah, I think, and it's interesting to use the phrase bench. I mean, we tend to, yeah, he was benched, maybe not in the same way that we use that verb all the time. I think they're just at a loss here. They're trying to find something that works. They went to extreme measures last week, and that was not an improvement. So everything's on the table. And when everything's on the table and you feel like you've tried just about all of your options, I think it's very likely that they could well circle back to say, hey, look, Ricky's still the best of some not so great options right now. And what can we do around him as a coaching staff and in terms of X's and O's, in terms of personnel, and in terms of even shifting the coaching responsibilities to put Ricky in position to succeed and for all of our quarterbacks to develop in what time is left. And so if you look at all the quarterbacks that have played post the Angeli injury, I know it hasn't been pretty really for any of them, but you have the most invested in Ricky Collins in, financially and otherwise. And he has the best background coming in, and he's obviously outperformed the others on balance in practice. So I think if you really take into consideration that we're going to play the guy that gives us the best chance to win games, then I think that does point back to Ricky Collins.
You brought up, you touched on the coaches there. That's the other big topic this week is the shakeup, if you will, with Michael Johnson moving over to the quarterbacks, Nunzio going back to the tight ends where he was when Dino Babers was here, and letting go of Miles White and promoting Josh Gaddis. What do you make of these moves in season? And we heard what Fran had to say about it, that he wanted to see what it looked like while they were playing some games as opposed to doing it in the offseason. What do you make of making these changes with a few games left?
Well, first off, I think Fran is the type that is looking for constant improvement. He is not one who values, some do, some would value continuity above all else, right? Maybe that's true of Coach Boeheim, right? He was someone who really appreciated the status quo. And while maybe there were changes that were behind the scenes and whatever, he largely had the same staff for a long time and the same approach and all that for a long time. I think Fran is a guy who is going to change. They could have gone undefeated in the first year, and he would have made changes, or they would have been made for him by coaches moving on to other places. And that's what he's doing here. He didn't want to wait around and make changes in December and not know how those were even going to play out. Now he can make some tweaks and evaluate, did these work or not, over the next 3 games. It's really a 4-week span of how this team will be operating this way, and see if they're better off. Because of the commitment made to football here and the augmenting of the staff in recent years, particularly since Coach Brown came on board, you now do have people in these positions that maybe in the case of Gaddis, and I can't even right now think of the title that he had last week, but they're just extra guys, quality control or analysts or senior assistant or whatever you call it, but they're not among your main 10 position coaches. To have those guys to pop in is really something that's never been possible at Syracuse. And the staff top to bottom right now is about as strong as it's ever been, and Coach Mack and Coach Pasqualoni had some really strong staffs going back there, people that went on to excel at high levels on their own or be coordinators and head coaches in college and pro. So I think that's what they've got here. They're going to tinker with it a little bit. Maybe Mike Johnson's got a way of communicating with the quarterbacks that's a little different, that puts them in position to succeed, and we'll see. He certainly has the background. I think all these guys are good coaches, and they're going to be fine in the positions they're in.
What do you expect out of Miami on Saturday? Do you expect a team that is going to come out and be focused and sharp and so on and so forth, or do you expect a team that's going to be lacking motivation and feeling sorry for themselves that they're not going to the college football playoff?
Hard to say. I think that's the whole thing with Miami in recent years, right? Generally a pretty good roster, and right now they've got a lot of really good players. Then inevitably it seems like they kick one away here or there during the season, and it's happened to them a couple of times already. So I don't know the answer to that. I think you obviously have to prepare for getting their best. They do have some injured players. Mark Fletcher, we think, won't play in this game, but if Ruben Bain wants to do his thing in a game, you're going to pay the price. You got to account for it. That guy's a stud, and they have 2 or 3 in that category that are projected to be high NFL draft picks. So you got to prepare for that. I think if you're particularly Bain and Messidor, they're top defensive linemen and pass rushers, you'd want to tee off against a bad quarterback situation, right? So they must be thinking this is a stat game and it's a nationally televised game and all of that. So until proven otherwise, I think you got to expect that Miami will be at its best. And if they have mailed it in, we'll find out soon enough.
All right, let's switch gears. Let's talk a little basketball. What stood out to you from the opener against Binghamton? Lopsided win. We thought it was going to be a lopsided win. They went out, they took care of business. What stood out to you from the game, though?
That they got some easy stuff. Didn't turn it over. Did create or take advantage of a lot of turnovers. So it's 10-0 off the bat. Then, points off turnovers way out of whack in Syracuse's favor. I don't even remember what rebounding was, but then all those, shots around the rim, they just made it easy. And the one thing that right now it looks like has been a weakness across the board in these first 3 games, this doesn't seem to be a team of snipers, or at this point, they don't have a high volume of spectacular shooting from the perimeter right now. But that's been covered by the fact that they've played over the heads of their opponents to this stage. To come out in your opening game and make only 5 turnovers is probably the easiest way to say the most impressive part. And they stopped them on the defensive end as they should have and cashed in.
I know it's only week 1, Matt. You a little worried about the 3-point shooting, or you think that's something that'll remedy itself?
You got to shoot it at some point. I think against good teams, you have to make long-range shots. I think there are players that are capable. I think between Kings and Anthony and Betsy, right there. But, I don't think that's probably going to be a strength of this team. I don't think you're going to see them at the top of the conference for 3-point shooting. I think you have to have a little. But if you do a lot of these other things well, if you're really good and aggressive on the defensive end, you can get layups. And if you share the ball and don't turn it over, you can get decent offensive opportunities and get to the free throw line. And you can, to score 87 points with only whatever it was, 4 3-pointers means you're doing something right on the offensive end. Obviously it'll be tougher against the better teams.
Lastly from me, Matt, I know you had a chance to talk with Adrian Autry last night. The JJ situation. I think he said, what did he say, that it's nothing serious, but they're going to take it slow with him? Anything else you can share on the JJ Starling front? Do you expect to see him Saturday? Do you think he'll be, 100% fine by Vegas based on what you know?
I didn't ask him directly, and I should have. I'll be out of town for that game, so I should have done Tim's homework for him. And I'm sorry, Tim. I could have gotten ahead of that and just asked point blank if he's going to play. My guess is he's not going to play. That's how I interpret we're going to take it slow. They're going to overmatch Delaware State too without him. So I would find it highly unlikely for him to play. You let him rest one more time, and then you don't have a game until the following week down in Philadelphia. So that's my feeling on it. I don't think it's a serious, debilitating deal. It looks like he took a awkward step, and maybe he felt a twinge in the back of his leg there, and they're just going to take it easy. It's a long season ahead, and you guys are rattling off how deep the roster is and whatever. They want to have everybody available.
All right, Matt, enjoy your pool time in Miami.
I do like Mai Tais. You guys had brought that up. Mai Tais a quality event, but that's like in Hawaii, that would have been automatically my answer, when you're there. I don't know that just chilling out. So if we are at the tournament, Paulie, and we're in Buffalo in March, probably going to be a blue light, like the sign behind you there.
Yeah, Guinness. That's a Guinness for me.
Yeah. And maybe some wings.
I love how you present like you're some big drinker, Paulie, when
I'm not.
You're not.
I'm not. I'm just.
Not.
Well, how does this turn out? I'm just trying to make Steve relatable. I'm trying to talk like man to man to him. Like,
so
hey.
you tell me that sometimes I overshare. So then when I'm like, I'm not playing along because this is ridiculous, now you're getting on me about that. So I can't
Steve,
win with you either way.
If saying a drink is not even remotely close to oversharing.
Okay, so
if you had said I don't drink whiskey because it burns my throat, that would be oversharing. You could just say I drink this.
All right, fair enough. Matt, you don't have to listen to this.
I'll see you tonight, Matt.
Well, I bring it up too because that was an obscene parade of Diet Cokes you had the other night before the game even started. You had 3 cans on the floor.
That's all I had for the game. There was 3 for the game because I didn't want to run out.
Light work for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to do 1 pregame, 1 first half, 1 second half, and I'm done. I'm
trying to cut back.
I am. It used to be 5. I'm down to 3.
Nice. Good for you. All right.
We have to get you an
Is that relatable to the
2 holders on the straw.
Yeah. Is that makes me relatable to more people?
All right, Steve. Excellent. Good for you, Matt. All right, thank you for your time as always.
Quite a show you guys have.
Yeah,
thank you.
Voice of the Orange, Matt Park. Fran Brown show tonight over at Myers Creek,
where they sell alcoholic drinks.
They do.
Steve won't tell us what he would drink if he was sitting at the Coach Brown show tonight, even if I was there or not. I'm not telling you.
Let's take our final timeout. We'll wrap things up next on ESPN Radio.
I am. My health is fine. My blood work's fine. My CAT scan's fine. I just pee a lot. It must be from the caffeine.
We have 15 minutes after the show. We can just talk about that.
Yeah.
They want me. Our IT guy is off tomorrow, so they want me to try and bring something back with me today. I'll explain after the show.
All right, well, why don't we just see if we can record just us talking back and forth for 5 minutes?
Yeah,
and
we need to get Tim back.
Yeah. No, not Backer. One of those guys out there. I only drink like water or Crystal Light after 6. Yeah, my blood work is fine until it isn't. Yeah, isn't that for everybody in life? You're alive until you're not.
This is true.
I go to the gym. I do cardio. I'm fine. Your name is Spatching the Wheeze. Not taking.
I don't think that's actually his name.
I'm not taking health from advice from someone with a screen name, Spatching the Wheeze. Yeah, I drink water at home. I don't have soda or anything at home, so I have to drink water. Yeah, my body's keeping score. I'll lose eventually. Spatching the Wheeze, I'm sure you're just a picture of health. My body is a temple and a wonderland. I don't drink any alcohol. Don't do any drugs. I just like a Diet Coke. It relaxes me. A Diet Pepsi. It's relaxing to me. It's my one vice, and I'm not giving it up. If I decide, if that's what takes me out, I died happy. All right? Thank you. Good. I'm not stopping drinking after 6 o'clock. I pee during the day, too. It's not like I'm waking up to pee. I just pee a lot during the day. It's not like a nighttime thing. Thank you. I'm not defensive. I'm just like, so what? I don't need health advice from the chat. I'm fine. I don't drink every second every day. I've cut down to just one here at the office every day. And then if I drive by a McDonald's, it's happening. I'm getting a Diet Coke at McDonald's.
Because it's fresh.
Yeah. I'll have that. And then I have 3 at the game. I'm fine. I don't care. Sure, you guys are sober 24/7, and I don't critique you guys. I have a coffee in the morning with cold foam. Yeah, you don't know. Diet Coke from McDonald's is next level. So good. I got a CT scan because I had an infection. And then my CT scan was fine. Just part of being a 55-year-old man, 53-year-old man. Oh, this is a great song. Steve, not only is our chat and our listeners smarter than head coaches, but they're apparently smarter than doctors also.
That's what we're learning today?
I've literally got everybody in the chat telling me that I am killing myself by drinking Diet Pepsis and Diet Cokes. Oh, well. Oh, well. I'm fine.
I'm glad you're fine.
The average chat IQ is 170, according to Lady Orange.
Tim's back.
Yes, I'll be back tonight, too. Drive time, 5 to 6. Tune in.
Yeah. Men's Health said it's the healthiest show in America. It doesn't drink any Diet Pepsi.
What's on tap for the show?
We got Chris Brown of the Bills Radio Network. Going to chat with him about the trade deadline, Steve. I don't know if you...
It's not fantasy football, according to Brandon Bean. Said they didn't make a move. That was his response. It's not fantasy football.
Yeah, and then whatever else I conjure up Syracuse-wise. Maybe talk more about Ricky Collins potentially starting, what to make of Fran Brown's comments on these airwaves.
Sounds good. A picture of health.
What's the topic tomorrow?
Tomorrow is National Fountain Pen Day, Steve.
What are you going to do with that?
Do you have one of those? You seem old school. I don't use ballpoints. I use fountain pens. I will be songs about writing.
Okay.
Tomorrow. You think I can do it? 7 songs. I know Paperback Writer, Dancing in the Dark, right? That's about writing. Spend all day here trying to write this book. Isn't that lyrics in that song? I think I could come up with it.
Okay.
It's all on you.
There you go. We are out of time. And Fran Brown Show tonight, we should say at
Myers Creek.
Myers Creek, 7, 8 o'clock.
Yes.
So join us down there. All right, we got to go. For Tim, for Paulie, I'm Steve. Enjoy the rest of the day, everybody. We are back at it noon tomorrow.